Guys, animated Star Wars is so good. Right off the bat, I should let you know. Some of my favorite Star Wars stuff comes from the animated stuff. Some of my favorite characters come from animated stuff, chiefly being Ahsoka, Cad Bane, Bo-Katan. Tales of the Jedi gives us a behind-the-scenes look at Ahsoka. A little bit. Honestly, it's mainly Count Dooku and Qui-Gon. Like, we start to see why Count Dooku defected. And in the Clone Wars proper, he's actually pretty evil. Like, he's fallen very, very far. But Tales of the Jedi helps to explain why he would have taken those first steps into darkness to begin with. Now, you get the revelation that he's been working with Palpatine towards the end of the 6 episode run, but you don't know how long he's been working with Sidious. And I'm kind of glad they kept that. I'm glad they kept that vague. What I would not want to find out is that the entire time we were seeing him, he was already in League, because then it seems like all of his ideas have been kind of corroborated by a third party. I like the idea that Count Dooku was a Jedi proper, and he just witnessed a couple things that he didn't like in the system, among the Jedi, among the galaxy as a whole, and it made him susceptible to somebody like Palpatine. I hope those things were already there. But you don't get confirmation either way. It's 6 episodes of differing situations, like a village is being invaded, or some protocol needs to be followed. The rigid Jedi code requires you to follow this protocol, but the right thing to do may be something else. So, there's what's lawful, and then there's what's right. And it deals with things like that. And then there's a couple Ahsoka episodes. One in particular is Ahsoka training with Anakin. Anakin's not impressed by the way she's being trained in the temple, so she takes him on his own personal training thing with clone troopers. It was good to see Captain Rex again. Rex is a great clone. My favorite clone was always Fives, but rest in peace to the homie. So that Ahsoka one was one of my favorites of the season, but I did prefer the Dooku stuff, because it was just, his story was very interesting, watching him become disillusioned with the Jedi. I don't mind going down to dark side stories, turning evil, villain origin stories. I prefer the hero. I won't say I always have, but in most of my adult life, I've preferred the hero. So there is that. But a good villain origin story is at least compelling, and the Dooku story was certainly compelling. Everything from his interaction with a young Qui-Gon to his interaction with a younger Mace. You get some backstory that there may have possibly been some resentment between them, because Mace Windu was offered a seat on the council that Dooku didn't get, and you get the sense that the reason Dooku didn't get it is because Mace kind of snitched about a rule that Dooku broke. Even though Mason and Dooku understood the context as to why Dooku went rogue in that moment, it almost feels like Mace Windu undercut him to get ahead. And it's like, oh, that's not great. And you also get to see Dooku when Qui-Gon died. It establishes that at the time in which Darth Maul killed Qui-Gon, that Dooku was still part of the Jedi at the time. We got to see his reaction. We got to see him sitting quietly by himself in front of this tree. He talks about how he used to bring Qui-Gon there all the time. Well, he's confronted by Yaddle at that point, so I guess he's not alone. But he talks about how he used to bring Qui-Gon there as a kid, because Coruscant is a planet of steel and metal and everything like that. There's very little bio life. There's very little vegetation. So Qui-Gon loved that tree because it's pretty unique. But yeah, as a whole, Tales of the Jedi, it was good. It's old. I didn't watch it when it first came out, but I've kind of been on a Star Wars kick because May the 4th is coming up. So yeah, check it out if you haven't. It's an easy watch. You're in and out in about an hour and a half. So yeah. All right. I'll see you next time.